Benjamin5678 here. Alright. And welcome back to Sherlock Holmes. Yesterday we ended up in this Asian hippie area. We think we've probably found the cult that we found the pot to belong to, and I'm pretty sure Montague was part of it or something. I can't remember. But anyways, let's continue. I mean, there's really nothing else to say, actually. This case has been kind of a slow case, so we just kind of truck through it, you know, piece by piece. So.
A fragment of a flower pot. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. The Kew Gardens symbol.
Huh. Interesting. So they got some Kew Gardens pot, while Kew Garden has one of their pots? Was there some kind of trade going on? I wonder. That's a very interesting tree. I've never seen a tree like that. I have seen a tree, like, I've seen two trees, like, consistently, like, twirling around each other and then break apart and then go back like twirling around each other. It's really it's just as weird as it sounds. Hello. Alright.
Osmosis and photosynthesis.
Okay.
This must be Triwan, the Divine Syndicate's god. This door is locked, but I can try to open it.
Right. So anyways, I guess while I'm trying to figure out this lock picking thing here. So I've kind of figured out the next game we're gonna play. I'm gonna be dead honest. I was going to do Lego Star Wars as the next game to play, but just to be honest, there's just some games that I don't know what it is, but like I can't commentate on. And I think it's mostly like heavy story-based games, which I have no problem with. I mean, I love heavy story-based games, but the games kind of speak for themselves. Where like games like Sherlock Holmes here, right, has a lot of like quiet moments where I can kind of say something in between. And wait, what? What the fuck? Whoa, that's weird. That is weird. Alright, okay, so perhaps this goes here, and then this go here. Whoops. Okay, so I guess we figured out this entire piece out. Let's leave it there. But yeah, so I have another game in mind that I'm gonna play, which is an old game, and to be honest, it's a pretty mediocre game. But when I beat it one time, I liked it. I enjoyed my time with it. So this is telling me, hang on, this thing isn't clipped all the way. Okay, there we go. I was gonna say it wasn't clipped all the way. So I was wondering if it was telling me that something wasn't right. But anyways, yeah, it's a very mediocre game. But when I beat it, it was just one of those games where I can't forget it, and I think it's because it's just so unique. But yeah, that's all I'll say for now. Okay, so that's definitely it. That has to definitely be it there. Okay, so from what it seems like here, it's mostly just trying to. Okay, I see. Okay, so let's try to connect everything to this piece up there. Boom. Nailed it. Alright.
This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle we found in the bushes at Kew Gardens.
Oh yeah. So if you remember yesterday, we got Toby, the dog, and we managed to have him sniff out a bottle, which we did some chemical analysis on, where we found alkaloids. So here you go.
This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the ones we found in the laboratory at Kew Gardens.
How much you guys want to bet we might find the poison plants here?
That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments. A vast amount of opium. These instruments are used for smoking opium.
I guess we found everything in there. Let's go ahead and check over here.
Caterpillars. They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them.
Ah, the Venus flytrap. I believe that these can only spawn in the region of North Carolina.
A tropical plant. Nothing of interest.
But it's nothing interesting according to Sherlock Holmes.
A tropical plant.
Alright. So imagine what we're looking for, the poison plant that we found in Montague's lungs. That's the same
a tropical
thing.
Plant. A tropical.
Alright.
A tropical. A tropical.
Right.
These three plants are identical to the ones shown at the exhibition. I shall take them.
If anything, these three plants definitely looks, you know, quite threatening. They look evil, and I've never said a plant looked evil before, but those plants look evil. Alright. It appears that deadly plants are the alkaloids and the caterpillars are somehow connected. Fuck it up. Alright. Set up the experiment. Set up the alkaloid from a chemical laboratory and the caterpillars to perform an experiment with the deadly plants. Alright, so it looks like we're going back home.
Perfect, Watson. We can begin our experiment.
Yeah, we practically just came in here, like, bust in here and just stole their plants. That's kind of messed up. That's like breaking into an old lady's house just to steal, like, her flowers. Like, that's pretty messed up. But, I mean, then again, not really, because, you know, stealing an old lady's flowers is pretty much thievery, where here, yes, we're pretty much stealing this guy's plant, but it's for a case. So, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, dude. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to prattle on so I can make this as interesting as possible. See? I use a big word, though. Prattle. Alright. What are you doing, Watson? What are you doing?
This green grand mystic fellow seems rather suspicious, Holmes. What should we do next, Holmes?
Boy, I swear, Sherlock has definitely rubbed off on you, hasn't he? So, you know, kind of a cool thing. So I was listening to a psychologist earlier last week, and he said the best way to know how to feel someone's feeling is to put yourself in it voluntarily. He was kind of talking about, like, you know, putting a little psychopath in you. But the only way to, you know, put a little psychopath in you is to voluntarily commit yourself into being a psychopath. I don't know. He says it in a way more broader term. His vocabulary is way higher than mine, so he says it in a completely different way. but just look up a YouTube video. Something about that. I don't know.
I imagine that one of these plants would be
Alright.
capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask.
But the point was, though, is that I realized that Sherlock definitely likes putting himself in the position. You know, like how he poisoned himself earlier in the game. Or when he put himself in a room full of bees, which I wonder how they get out. Anyways, alright. First of all, go ahead and make your choice. Which one do you think releases poisonous vapor? I'm gonna say this one because this thing has spores all over, and I mean, it looks like something that, you know, The Last of Us would have. Alright, let's go ahead and experiment. Oh, you know what? Let's just go for the one that I think could be it. So let's go with that. Alright, where are we putting this? No? Okay. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
No reaction.
Alright.
It appears to have fallen inactive after being disturbed.
Yeah, it's creepy.
My word. It shot a spike at me after I stabbed it with a pin. I imagined that its reaction would be ferocious if I increased the strength of my attack. My.
Okay, I was kind of curious to see if it was going to. I just gotta put this back. Like I said, man, these are like the most evil looking plants I've ever seen. Even this one, it just looks like he's ready to shoot some fart gas at you or something. Alright, let's go ahead and get a caterpillar and put one in here. What the hell?
How interesting. What a strong and effective defensive mechanism.
Very. Is that real? Carlina Inabrar. I've never heard of this thing, but if this thing's real, I'm staying far away from wherever it came from. Oh god. Brar. Okay, so according to Google, it looks like there are plants called Carlina, and it has a little spikes on it, but I don't think it does this. So I don't know. Alright, well, we already know what this is gonna do. It's definitely gonna eat the caterpillars. Yeah.
I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating.
Yeah. To think that a plant eat bugs, where usually it's the other way around. Interesting. So this one has not made a single reaction just yet.
This is a strange and unusual plant.
You're telling me, man. This one's so far my favorite. This one's
A
cool.
carnivorous plant.
This one scares me because it can shoot shit.
A prickly plant.
Alright. Liquid with alkaloid. See, if science was like this in school, I'd totally be 100% in it, but unfortunately we don't. Dude, okay, straight up, just for anyone who doesn't even know, that we don't even get. Never got to cut up a frog in biology. Yeah, we finally come to that age where we're not even like allowed to cut frogs open. All right.
This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid.
Same thing.
This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid.
Now this one, this one. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if there was this one that I predicted that shoots spores.
It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid.
That is super strange. I don't know what's the... Wait, what? We can move this stuff around now? Oh! Alright. Let's see what happens when I do this. Nothing. Okay.
It
Oh!
closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud
Yep.
of gas.
I saw that
I
at the very
wonder
end
what
too.
secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more. I am interested in what might occur if the prickly plant should shoot at it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move this around. I know why. I know how we're doing it. Alright, so let's go ahead and open this back up. Alright.
It
And-
appears
Yeah. And then we'll put a caterpillar on here. And then the plant on the right should shoot it. There we go. And boom. Look at all the spores it's producing.
toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary.
Very interesting.
The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
And they would have to
Let
agitate the
us
plant
take
as
our
well.
caterpillars to the colonial collection room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
Alright. Very interesting. So I don't know if the plant is like if we have had to have like I'm pretty sure the plant would produce spores, you know, at any time. But I am kind of curious to know, would the plant like it would have to have been disturbed. That's what I'm thinking. So for right now, I'm just gonna say the plant had to have been disturbed to been able to produce that kind of spores, and a lot had to be disturbed a lot. Because remember when we poked it, it only put out like a small gas, but when the plant next to it shot all the shit cell, that's when it started producing the spores and stuff. So very interesting. Alright, let's see what we got here. Albert's lack of experience. Albert is not very good at botany. It is doubtful that he could have learned how the plants might release deadly spores. Albert's study. Albert had the biological knowledge to stimulate deadly plants. Let's be honest. So far from what I remember, Albert is Montague's son. So let's be honest. I think it might be Albert's lack of experience. So, because he wants to be a sailor, and we haven't found really anything that has anything to do with plants on his person. Like we checked his locker, we checked his work desk. Everything it has to do with boats. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Albert's lack of experience. Let's see if we get anything to do Albert's studies though. No. Alright, so let's go with Albert's lack of experience. So, alright. Hello, Toby. Alright, so we said back to Kew Gardens. This is okay, you know what? This case is finally starting to pick up a little bit for me. That experiments with the plant was fun. That was pretty cool. And I feel like we're starting to finally like get underneath the mystery into the roots, you know? Because the mystery is sort of like a plant in a way, you know? It has roots, and everyone sees what it looks like from the outside. Oh no, murder, stuff like that. But once you start digging in and starting to look at the root, study it, you know, start finding clues and stuff like that, then you'll realize how it lives, how it grows, and how it started. Oh yeah, that was deep. Okay, I'm done. Our Martin Pooh.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly, I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Alright.
Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious. Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of Lysa something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh, my God.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Yeah, once again, I'm gonna stick with the fact that Albert has little experience because he messed up those names just as bad as I would. I mean, yeah, these Latin names, man. Whew. Man, that was one class I actually did try to take in high school. I tried to take Latin, and school was like, nah, you're gonna learn Spanish. And guess what? Your boy did. He slacked off. Alright, no, kid, don't go slacking off in school. Alright, school is very important, but you know what? I'll go ahead and tell you what happened. When they saw me slacking off really hard in Spanish after the first quarter, they moved me into another class, and I had fun. So, yeah, I really probably should have actually stuck around and learned Spanish. But well.
Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house. I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Thank you, miss.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
Alright, my boy, let's go look for this shit. Determine the correct sequence of events based on the detail you've gathered. Well, hold up. Have we gotten the thing yet? Alright, move. Okay. Okay.
No, it wasn't like that.
Yeah, that was open. And the bus had to have been here, right? Wait a minute. But we found the bus in another room, and then we found a piece of the bus. Did we find a piece of the bus out here? Oh man, that's what happens when you spend more than a week on a case.
No, it wasn't like that.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm probably supposed to do this, and then I gotta keep going. So, escaping the room. Whoops. Is that it? Okay.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system.
Let's do it. So if I can remember, the ventilation system should be over here, yeah. Probably, yeah, I think we're going the right way. I'm trying to follow this ventilation stuff up here. Yeah, there it is. But if I'm correct, we're missing a piece of it, though. Yeah.
First of all, I need to visit the Colonial Collection Room to see how those caterpillars dropped onto the deadly plants.
Alright. Okay, so we gotta figure out how the caterpillar dropped on the plant. Okay. Well, if you remember, or if we noticed, the ventilation was open. So, could have someone have put the caterpillars in the ventilation? That's some Agent 47 stuff right there, man. Somebody like opened the vent, put some caterpillars up there just because they knew that Montague was gonna be right there. That's some hitman shit right there. Okay. So we need to figure out how the caterpillars.
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct.
Right.
Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
The power is on. The engine has started. The ventilation system is working.
Alright, let's go check and see. Make sure Watson didn't get killed by those caterpillars. What's up, Boston?
Now we need to see if we can activate the...
Oh wait, so is there multiple ventilation stuff that I need to open up? Alright, so let's see here.
Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one.
Here we go.
Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect.
Oh, Watson.
Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
That is true. We need to look across and see. What? We're getting somewhere. Alright, White's lack of experience. The knowledge Miss White acquired at the university might not be enough to guarantee the correct reaction of the deadly plants. Miss White had the biological knowledge stimulate. If we remember, Miss White is in. Okay, you know what? No. Hang on a second. Think about it here, right? Who has the most experience here to know how a plant would react? That would be Hamish. Let's see. Alright, let's just see what we get here. So, alright, so we get that and nothing. Still further complicates it a little bit. Hamish's opportunity. Martin Hamish had the opportunity to stimulate the deadly plants in the Colonial Collection Room. As a biologist, he would have understood the technicality of how to do this. So, okay. Now, just because Hamish has the most experience and he would know how the reaction would go off, it doesn't mean that he is the murderer. So, but it is quite sus, you know. And he does have a method of doing it, or not a method, but would have a reason to do it. A motive, that I meant to say.
Nest. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
This is right in front of Albert's desk too. Alright, what's the next role? So find the stolen plants from the last exhibition at Kew Garden, find out who killed, and find out what the Divine Syndicate is concealing. Kew Garden symbol has a flower pot found in Divine Syndicate. Okay, so we need to go back to there and find out stuff. So, okay. I think we are almost at the very end here, but yeah, we need to. First of all, we need to find out how these plants even got there. If Montague got killed by those same plants, we need to find out how they were able to get to the syndicate place. Yeah. Alright. Well, I guess next time we're gonna be going back to the Buddhist Chinese place. Or not even Buddhist Chinese, that is not. Chinese isn't Buddhist. Yeah, no. Chinese is Buddhism, because I think Japanese is Taoism. Anyways, the point is, we're going to be going back to the hippie place and see what they're hiding. But man, now we know how Montague actually died. And we now understand the motive. The thing is, though, we still don't really know that much about White, but again, just out of all of the characters, oop, the shadows over there is freaking out by that door. But just out of all the characters, Hamish does have the motive and the best knowledge of how they could work. I think we'll find better understanding of the answers once we get to the hippie place. But anyways, thanks so much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you later.